Good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Key West Waterman. My name is Aaron Young. It is a beautiful, somewhat cloudy day here in Key West. What you reading?
Housemaid.
The Housemaid. Long story short, to catch you up, it's been fairly inclement weather all week. It's been really windy and lots of thunderstorms, lots of lightning. Haven't really had a chance to get out on the water. We are completely out of fish and lobster and all the good stuff, so my job today is to go harvest some food, hopefully some delicious treats. Would really like some snapper, maybe a grouper, some yellowjack, the usual suspects. But got a little break in the weather. It's supposed to rain again tomorrow, actually the next like 3 or 4 days. It looks like we may have to dodge some weather today, but that is the plan. Get out and do some spearfishing, hopefully harvest some fish. I'm loading up the truck. I'm headed down to the boat. I will see you down there shortly. Alrighty, we are gassed and iced. This is James. You met him a few weeks ago. We did some diving out on the Atlantic side. So today we're going to shoot over to the Gulf side. And a lot of you guys ask what drives those decisions. And there's a lot of factors: the wind, the tides, reports. Obviously, if you communicate with other boats that have been out there. But all this week we've had a really hard east to southeast wind, which is probably the least ideal for both sides, but a little more beneficial for the Gulf because the Gulf is a little protected from it. But I'm actually going to make a video and talk about tides, currents, winds for preferred areas and what drives those decisions on where to go, because there are a lot of factors that come into play, especially being on an island. It's very unique and the tides are a little different. But yeah, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to head out to the Gulf shallows. Hopefully there's a diveable water out there. You know, anything over 10 feet of viz would be amazing. But we got the guns, gas, and ice. We're ready to go. Alrighty, we are on the Gulf side, aka the Gulf of Mexico. Water looks actually pretty good. It's kind of hard to tell. Looks pretty good for the Gulf. Some big old moon jellies floating around. A little breezy, but all in all, it looks very diveable. Let's go see what's down there. Welcome back underwater, everybody. Thanks so much for taking the time to tune in. I do appreciate it. This video is actually the longest video I've ever made. So much action this day. I cut another 45 minutes of footage out. So what I'm going to do, if you're looking to skip around, we do cook at the end, but I'm going to add chapters. Like if you go down on the timeline, it'll tell you different sections of what's going on, because there was quite a bit that happened this day. So there will be chapters if you want to skip around. This was my very first drop. Nice mangrove snapper comes in. We were there to put meat in the boat, so didn't want to hesitate, and started the first drop of the day with a fish in the boat. Did you get one too? Nice. I'm gonna take my mangoes. So I'm gonna let some of these clips run raw, some of them I will talk through. There were a lot of different scenarios this day. We had so much fun, so much action. If you do have the time to watch it, I think you will enjoy it. There was just a lot that went on. You see a little cloud of dust there. I did spook something. I couldn't see it, but it's nice to be able to watch these back, because I was able to tell that it actually was a little grouper that I spooked, made a little cloud of dust. I think that's what's so fun for me about filming these, is I do get to watch them back and catch things that I missed, honestly. There's a little yellowjack there off in the distance. Just wasn't sold on it. But this is some of my favorite diving. Shallow little rock piles. They hold tons of life. Always a treat. I actually don't dive these areas particularly often. The water's normally really dirty back here. You don't get a lot of clean days. I would consider this very clean for the area we were in. Lots of current, and it's been pretty windy lately. I'm down on the bottom cruising around, and I love to see this. The amount of hogfish we're seeing in certain areas. Some areas still need help, but you can see a very nice hog out there off in the distance, and a ton of smaller ones following it around. Just really, really love to see that. They've been on the comeback the last few years.
So there's like 8. That one big male with a thick snout is definitely legal.
You want to take him?
Yeah, if you want, it's up to you.
No.
I was gonna wait for I'm gonna try and wait for a big one. I'm gonna be greedy on those, but
All right.
It's up to you. To me, that fish looks absolutely legal. I'm gonna try and wait for like a 20 if I can, but.
And if you've kept up with the channel, I almost never shoot hogfish in the Keys. They needed some time to come back, and they finally are. So I still don't just want to go and hammer them. But we were talking about that hog there. We saw a really nice one. You heard my gun go off. I shot the mangrove, and then James decided he was going to take this hog. It ended up being real nice. It was just shy of 19 inches, and the legal limit's 16 to the fork. So very nice hogfish for this area.
Nice. I'd say we're off to a start. That was bigger than I thought it was.
So the first couple drops we did were on the outskirts of this rock pile. We shot a couple mangroves. James shot that nice hog, and we started to work in to where it gets a little more rocky. And we realized how much bait there was. That's why there was so much life around. These are little grunts. They look like they're spawning. I mean, there's thousands of them. The snapper and the grouper love these. I've used them for bait before. But you can just see how many of them there are. And that's why we realized that's why this spot was so busy.
Dude, James, all those, I don't know if you saw all those little mini grunts. There's gonna be a black here somewhere. I've already seen a bunch of small groupers. I'd be surprised if there wasn't a legal one somewhere.
I saw a couple borderline reds.
Yeah.
I haven't taken any of those this year.
There's a big pinnacle head somewhere like this, but it's huge. They normally are gonna be in that if I can find it. I know this spot pretty well. They normally go to the same rock every time.
So something I did want to mention, one of my last videos, you guys have to understand, just because you'll see a lionfish here in the frame, just because I don't show something doesn't mean it didn't happen. I got a bunch of grief about not shooting lionfish like 2 or 3 episodes ago. And you have to realize, just because you didn't see me do something doesn't mean I didn't do it. The smaller lionfish, that was a smaller one. Most times I'll just shoot them, take the spines off, and then cut them up and leave them on the spot for the other fish to eat. The bigger ones, we actually do shoot them and eat them. So just because you didn't see me do something doesn't mean I didn't do it. Just keep that in mind, please. Try to keep this episode or this channel real, and just be real about everything. But that's something that I do find funny. Just because you didn't see me do it doesn't mean I didn't. But I'm down here poking around looking for grouper. You can see how much bait there is. There's those grunts as well as a big ball of pilchards. And the pilchards are like the most primo bait we get down here. And the fact that I saw those, I knew there was going to be grouper somewhere.
It's like the Holy Grail. If there's a ball of pilchards down there too, there's no wonder there's so many fish.
This particular spot I've dove dozens of times. I know for the most part where the grouper like to hide, specific rocks they like the shape of. So I did locate them. I couldn't spot them from the surface, but a few dives around I was able to locate them. So I wanted to get to work with my flashlight. And this is one of them. Just the amount of bait was insane. So I'm poking in here. I can see a little dust stirred up, so I had a feeling there was something in here. You're hoping for a grouper, and I get to searching with my light. poke in here, and I realize it was a Goliath grouper. If you're not familiar, we are not allowed to harvest that particular grouper. And this is the other side where the grouper will shoot in and out of. You can see a lot of dust in there. I cut out a bunch of dives from this spot, but I ended up searching this whole side as well, and there were a lot of smaller ones. I saw, no joke, probably a dozen small grouper swimming around, which you love to see. So if you pay attention right there, you'll see a little grouper tail swim up in that rock. Another one over there up in the sand. And I poked my head around this corner, and this fish was probably legal. We kind of surprised each other in the way I was holding my gun. It would have been awkward to get to it. And it wasn't the biggest grouper ever. I decided to not pursue it. I could have got up in that hole with a flashlight, but it was really close. If it was legal, it was barely legal, maybe by an inch or so. So decided to leave it alone. It was only the first spot of the day. Not a bad start. Tons of life. Another mango back there. So much life. The grunts are spawning. There's a big ball of pilchards. And when I see that, I know there's going to be stuff around. All those little baits they love eating. The snapper, the grouper. I saw probably, I don't know, 15 grouper. Most of them, or all of them small. I saw one that was borderline. I'm pretty confident there's a legal grouper there somewhere, but a little hard to search in that viz. But that was really cool to see. Very, very enjoyable dive. We're gonna move along to the next. Just a beautiful day. I've never dove this one before, but it looks pretty good. So this is my bottom. These are rocks coming up off of it. It's a little bit of rocking because of the boat, a little squiggly, but definitely got some bait on it, so we're gonna check it out. See if maybe there's a big hog on it. Worth a look. So this is our second spot. And like I said, I don't take hogs very often. We were seeing some decent ones, so I decided, you know what? I'm gonna take mine. I haven't taken one yet this year. This was the first day I had actually targeted them at all. Here's a nice one, really nice hogfish. It's funny, I started to line up and it said, nuh-uh, and it just started to swim off. And I don't really want to take a Hail Mary on those, as seldom as I shoot them. The last thing I want to do is shoot one and injure it and let it get away.
I'm pretty sure I seen him the second I lined up on him. He went straight this way, would not turn, and just in that big thick snout. That's so cool. Love seeing them things. I mean, if we've already seen that many in 2 spots, I imagine I'll see another.
I'm happy the population looks this good.
Yeah, seriously.
Just scanning around, and I see what I think was the same one come back in. I'm just sizing it up. I want to make sure it's a good one. And I see an even bigger one off in the distance. What I thought was this one. And I couldn't tell which one was bigger. And I hesitated for a second. I go to line up on this one and is not having it. I was just trying to be patient. Doing my best. I know it's hard to. You see hogfish that big, especially down here. I figured I had missed my shot as quickly as that one took off. It appeared to be just a little bigger than the first one. So I'm just cruising around, check everything out, and I stumble into that big one again. And I decide that it is big enough. Just to give you an idea, it's end of August and I've yet to shoot one. This is the first hogfish of the year for me. I'm just sizing them up just to make sure it's the right one, the one that I want. And I was able to catch back up with it and waited till it gave me that broadside I like and took my shot.
There's two. I couldn't figure out which one was bigger, and I kept seeing both of them. I don't know, but I mean, I was gonna be greedy, and I'm like, well, if I play that game, I'm not gonna see another one. I only shoot like 1 or 2 a year, so.
I understand. It's a nice one.
Oh yeah, I'm happy with it.
That is.
If the jaw does that, I'm happy with it.
So this is another rock I'm familiar with that I'm used to seeing a grouper in. Was able to find it. It's hard to spot these from the surface, you know, when it's not clear enough. You got to do quite a bit of searching. You got to drop just 5 or 6 feet down to where you can spot the rocks and identify them. I was trying to get up in here with a light, hoping there was going to be a black grouper in it. There's another big old Goliath. I personally think these are more of a problem than anything. Everyone's worried about the lionfish, but they don't realize how much it takes to feed big groupers that size. And they will eat anything and everything. Talked myself into shooting a hogfish. Long story short, these have struggled for quite some time. The limit used to be 5 per person and they were only 12 inches. I don't shoot them very often around here, maybe 2 a year at the most, but it seems finally the numbers are coming back. I've already seen probably 5 or 6 this big today, so I figured we'd take a couple. Just beautiful fish, very easy to hunt. They kind of just hang out. But really pretty, and they taste great. It's my first hog of the year for me. It's the end of August. So this is the next spot. I've shot a ton of grouper on this spot, and first drop, and this is just, it shows you how much tunnel vision you get. We both dropped, me and James dropped at the same time and didn't realize it. And I didn't even know he was down. But he didn't shoot near me or anything. It just, I didn't know he had dropped and he didn't know I had dropped. He shot a nice mangrove and another nice one comes out and was able to get a hold of it before it rocked up. But it's funny, a lot of times you'll get tunnel vision. You don't realize how close your buddy is right next to you down.
seen probably 5 or 6 small ones.
So we were about to leave and James hollered at me and said he had a grouper rocked up, and he goes down there leading with his light, lines up and lets it rip. Got him a stone shot. Nice black grouper.
I knew there's normally a grouper here. I saw like 5 or 6 shorts. Did you stone him?
Yeah.
Nice.
He gone.
There you go.
And we were about to leave, and I decided to do one more drop on the front side of this pile that we hadn't hit yet, and I realized another giant ball of pilchards, and there was just stuff all over it. There were blue runner and Jack Crevalle and those Goliath grouper following it around. There was a bunch of little grouper. It just seemed like this day, you can see cereal mackerels there. It seemed like this day, you know, if we found the bait, we found the fish. All the spots we did well on had some form of ball of bait on them, which was really cool to see.
A nice little black grumper. Hold up, some mangoes. What more could you ask for? It's actually kind of slicking out a little bit. Well, relatively. We are getting there. I'm gonna slush that up. Nice little grouper. 20 feet of water all day. We're on a mission to put some fish in the fridge today, so on to the next.
So again, another example of why I love filming stuff. I can watch this back. I didn't even realize this. So I swim up to this rock. You'll see a grouper come around the right side and go behind it, and then on the left of the rock, just behind it, there's a legal grouper sitting there, and I didn't even see it. I was so laser focused on the first one that came in. So you'll see here on the right, top right of the screen, a black grouper shoot across, and he goes in this rock. He went inside the head, and then to the left, you'll see him spook here in a second. There's a legal black grouper, and I didn't see that fish until it took off. But it's just funny being able to watch these back and see that. I was so focused I didn't even notice that other grouper was sitting there. So I saw one of them go in here. I couldn't tell which one was bigger. I saw the other one so briefly just swimming away. And it's hard for you guys to see this when I'm looking in these holes. It's a little cloudy. The camera's mounted just a little above my eye line, so a lot of times you won't see what I'm seeing exactly. You can see there's a little cloud there, and I could see the grouper. I just couldn't figure out how big it was.
I think I got a legal black in here. He kind of fogged it up. There was actually 2 sitting on this rock. He will not sit still. I can't get a good look at him.
So a few more dives on that same rock, and I couldn't really get a great look at the fish that was in the hole, but I had a feeling it was a little smaller. So I decided to go looking for the other one. I didn't get a great look at it. I thought it was legal, but I was a little hesitant. I wasn't sure. The second fish that swam off. That's a Goliath, by the way, not the black. So I started searching. Me and James were looking around, see if we could locate this fish. And I'm coming over this rock, and you'll see I zoom in. There's a little point, and it's a grouper's nose. I wasn't sure if it was the grouper, but it was a grouper's nose. It looked a little small to me, but I could tell that it was a grouper. So I dropped back down, and I was trying to just get a better look at it. I had a feeling if I could get close enough, see the lips, I could tell how big it was. And I come around the corner, and it's completely broadside, and it saw me, and I realized it was definitely big enough. And I just missed my opportunity. A little hesitant, and I missed my shot.
I saw him again. He dusted me. I thought it was a small one. I saw the lip sticking out, and I came around the corner, and he just bolted. I realized it was the big one. Well, not big, but he was legal. We'll move along.
So on the other side of the boat, there's a single head, or a single pile, real small. And I decided to check it out before we left. And I pull up, and I'm going to slow this down. You'll see one grouper go into the rock. You may have to watch this back. And then there's one on top that goes into the rock. And there's one on top that sits there. So 3 really nice grouper. And this one, I almost took the shot, but it was just not lined up enough that I hesitated. And I didn't want to take a long shot because that grouper seemed pretty mellow. So I decided to just let it go. Didn't want to rush it. It seemed like a bigger one had swam into the rock. So I was trying to just remain calm and, not throw any Hail Marys. And you'll see it drop down again. Here's a nice one off in the distance, and it takes off. I know that there's 3 in there. I decided to let that one go. I was going to try and pursue it, but it seemed like it was going too fast, and I wasn't able to catch up with it. So I aborted and decided to go for the ones in the hole.
I pulled up and saw the big dust cloud and looked to the left. I saw a tail, and there was one that was perfectly broadside and had a little bit of greed because I saw the first tail. And then another 28-inch one just took off and left. There's still another one in there, insane. But I just saw the tail of the big one. I'm gonna try and line up on him.
So this section is really long. This is all for one fish. Like I said, there are chapters on here. I wanted to leave this in because it did take a while. I still probably cut 10 dives out of it at least. But this is a longer section. This is probably why the episode's so long, because this fish took quite some time. So I'm slowly moseying around, trying to get eyes on where the other ones are. I saw them go in the rock. It's not often they're just going to go in and leave right away unless you give them a reason to. So I'm coming around this corner real slow. This seems like the biggest opening, the deepest hole. They've got to be somewhere on this side. So I come in real slow, not knowing what to expect. You can see a small one shoots across there, but that's not the one I'm looking for. And I get up in here. Like I said, the angle of my camera doesn't allow you to see it. And I line up, and the second, you'll hear me say it 50 times, the second I pulled the trigger, the fish bolted forward. And I couldn't tell if I hit it or not.
Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure I missed, fraction of a second he jumped the string, right when I pulled the trigger.
Oh, you shot?
Yeah, I'm pretty...
I saw another one come out and then come back in that was very legal.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I completely missed him. Dang it. I had it right on his head. Right on his head, and I was trying to get the stone shot, and a fraction of a second before he bolted.
So I will let some of these clips just play. We do communicate, James and I communicate a lot on the surface, so you'll know what's going through my head. talk through some of it, but a lot of it is us up and down, just working on this fish together. And I was going down to check to see if the fish was even on there. I couldn't tell if I hit it. I thought it bolted so quickly that I missed it, and I realized that there was some weight on there. And you'll see, this is one of the reasons diving with a camera can be a little cumbersome and risky. I didn't realize it snatched my reel line, and I was on my way in there, and I come back out, and it is completely wrapped, and I was not able to get it off. I had to bail and swim up without a mask. Luckily, I was only in 20 feet of water, 15 feet of water.
Camera, they said.
It'll be fun, they said.
It'll be fun.
So right here, we're essentially just trying to assess what the situation is. Can we get it out anywhere? Where's the fish? Where's the shaft? And just try and get a game plan. We're both looking. You can see the shaft. You can barely see the body of the fish. I knew that it was going to be a tough one.
I can see the shaft.
The side of the crack. Yeah.
But he's on this side, right? Like closer?
He just moved.
I could see his. I saw a body of a grouper. I couldn't tell if it was him.
Yeah.
I think I hit him like back in the tail.
You hit him mid-body. You were correct.
Okay. It was like, dude, it was. You can make all the excuses you want. It was a fraction of a second. Like my brain sent the command to pull the trigger, and he bolted forward.
I'm gonna see if I can.
Yeah.
So I'm also looking to see if there's any other exits, any other access to the fish. A lot of times there's a back door somewhere you can work, something else you can work with. You can put a shot in from another side, remove the first shaft, and pull it through. But this one was pretty tight. There was not a lot to work with. So the game plan is try and get my hands on it, try and budget. It was in the fish perpendicular to the way the fish was sitting. So not ideal when you're trying to pull a fish back out. That's why I always, and I say it again in the video, that is why I always try to get headshots, especially in the holes, because you can control the fish. When it's mid-body, you're really got yourself in a situation.
So you can still see the end of the shaft on the entrance.
Yeah. Problem is his head's in that crack. He's gonna flare his gills. By far the worst shot on a grouper I've ever taken. It's amazing how if I hit him in the head, it's a completely different story. I always talk about that because then I can control him. Right now I have no control over that fish.
So right here, I'm trying to get my hand on the tail and on the shaft. And it's just a little too far away that I can't get both. I'm just trying to wiggle it, see if I can get those gills to break free. So what happens is those fish will go and stick their head in a hole and flare their gills out. And think of them like kickstands on both sides, and it just doesn't allow them to come back out the other direction. So that's what I'm trying to do right now, is just wiggle it, try and make a little bit of headway so I can start working this fish out backwards. And after realizing I could not reach both, we decided, you know, James will grab one, I'll grab the other, and we can try and work together and hopefully shimmy it out.
It's amazing how different of an outcome a headshot is. He's just like this.
He's in there tight, buddy.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to pull the shaft out of him, let him readjust, and then.
So like I said, I probably cut out at least 10 dives on this particular fish. It would have been, this fish alone would have been an hour-long episode. So the plan was I was going to go in there, try and spin the shaft, which I did a previous dive. I was trying to spin the shaft and get it out of the fish, and I realized how tightly it was stuck. The flopper was stuck on the other side, and this side it had so much pressure and tension on it, you could almost barely get your hand under it. So what I'm doing right here is, because we couldn't get the shaft out, I was trying to bend the shaft down and push it farther the other direction so the shaft would be more parallel to the fish instead of perpendicular, which I was hoping would give us a better angle on trying to remove the fish. And you know I hate fish suffering. Another reason I hate having bad shots and not headshots is because the fish is in there suffering this entire time, and it really tears me up. So again, we go down together. This one, same game plan, one grab one side, one grab the other. And I had a better angle on the shaft, so we were able to turn the fish just a little bit. And this time we actually were able to wiggle it out quite a few inches.
Moving.
I was gonna say it felt like he moved.
Yeah.
So what I did, I went on the front side and I grabbed that shaft and went down like this under a couple little hangers and got it more parallel with him instead of perpendicular. But if I felt like he moved a few inches.
There's like a coral nodule that the tip is stuck behind. You can't move it.
Okay. I'll try and twist it if I can.
If we can pull it out, like even an inch, I think we'd be able to get that fish out.
Okay.
So finally was able to get the fish out enough. The shaft and line were still running through the rock, but I just wanted to dispatch the fish. I hate that it was sitting in there that long. Had pretty much bled out, but just wanted to make sure. And James was there ready, went down and finished the job.
And I ruined that fish.
And that was without a doubt a team fish. That would have been very tough alone, if not impossible.
I would not have been able to do that one without you.
Sorry, I could have been more help, man.
No, dude. What are you talking about? We're in the same hole, ripping on the same fish. Goodness.
Well, that was embarrassing. I've talked about it in past videos. Shot placement is everything. A little embarrassed to show it, but sometimes it happens. Can't be perfect. So I had him lined up. All I could see was this section right here, and I was trying to stone him, and the second I pulled the trigger, he darted forward and I hit him way in the back. Nice fish though, but like I said, you don't get that head, you can't control the fish, so you got to think that shaft is mid-body, like right here, and it's trying to pull him through a small space. Makes it very, very difficult. But we got him out, teamwork. Looking pretty good. I think we're gonna hit maybe 1 or 2 more spots, we'll see. So far, pretty great day. So we decided to hit a couple more spots. Was doing really well, just having so much fun. And we needed the fish. It's not like it was going to waste. And I found this really nice hogfish, super comfortable. It was just chilling, all lit up. And I decided I was going to play with it a little bit. It was sitting there just eating little mollusks and shells or whatever they eat. I'm not sure. I feel like half the time I just see them chewing on a rock or something, but so cool to see. After years of struggling, the numbers are really starting to come back in certain areas. I don't plan on shooting them all the time, but I will maybe take a couple more a year. So we were honestly going to head home, and we stopped off on the way home and decided to hit one of these rubble piles. They're normally really dirty and really sharky, so I don't get to dive them very often, but there's a ton of them out there in the Gulf where they just dumped old construction material or whatever it is. And first drop, real nice dog snapper comes out, gives me that broadside, and was able to get a good shot on it. And you can see a really nice black grouper just sitting there hanging out, checking me out, not concerned. We already had our grouper limit, luckily, but some days there's just fish everywhere. That fish was not concerned with me at all. I think maybe more curious than anything after taking that shot.
Nice one.
See that black sitting there just staring at me?
No.
Very nice legal black just sitting there.
And this was really cool. I was going down to show James this little cave or whatever you want to call it. Swim through. Checking it out. Some nice mangroves. There's a really big Goliath in here. And I hear James's gun go off. And I was wondering, I was like, man, what did he shoot? And I hear him screaming, so I thought something was wrong. And turn around. He's got a cobia. We don't see those very often in the summer, and it was really funny on the ride out. He's like, man, you know what I've never shot? I've never shot a cobia. I've never even seen one in the water. And the odds of seeing one in the summertime are not very good. We don't Don't get them a lot in the summer.
Bro, what are the odds of that?
Oh,
I just heard you screaming. I was like, did he just shoot that 300-pound Goliath?
that was worth the dive.
Make sure you bleed him. Was he by himself? Just swimming around. What?
I looked down, I was like, well, there's our first bird.
Dude, that's awesome. What are the odds?
Check.
Some days you just can't go wrong. You cannot make this up. Decided to do one more spot, hit one of the rubble piles. And on the way out, James was just telling me he's never shot a cobia and he's always wanted to get one. Pretty cool. Random cobia in the summertime, we don't see them a lot. And then two very nice, very happy dog snapper. Dude, congrats, man.
Thank you very much.
One of the best eating fish out here. Love cobia. But wind's picking up. We were kind of on our way back anyway, so we're gonna call it. We've got plenty of fish. We'll see you back at the house. And I'm back at the house. As always, I let this fish set overnight on ice. If you're new to the channel, I like to let my fish rest at least overnight, depending on the fish or what I'm doing with it, sometimes longer, but let the fish rest overnight. We're gonna do our hogfish. I don't shoot a lot of these. Happily seeing the populations come back, but I don't take a lot of these. So since we don't show a lot on the channel, that's what we're gonna show. We're gonna break this thing down. We're gonna use the entire fish. We're actually making, this morning I made some ceviche from the cobia. Got a lot going on today. We're gonna break this down, use the scraps for a broth or a stock. I'm gonna use that grouper head as well. But to start, we are gonna scale this. And I know there's other ways to do this. I'm gonna use a knife. You can use whatever you like, a spoon, a bottle cap, a scaler. I want to leave the skin on. Just get all the scales off around the fillet. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Now we're going to fillet as usual. They're pretty similar to fillet to everything else. They have a little different stomach cavity. It's a little different shaped, but more so on the back end when you're pulling the ribs out. But it is just a beautiful white meat, no bloodline. Just such an amazing fish. So after further discussion, we were gonna do the hogfish tonight. We decided we're gonna wait till tomorrow. Kind of got a lot going on. Excuse the mess. I've been in here pretty much cooking all day. Made some cobia ceviche. This actually turned out really good. Did cobia, hothouse cucumber, a local mango, a Keith mango, red onion, tomato, lemon lime, cilantro. I put tahini, cumin, and salt and pepper, and it turned out really, really good. Oh, and a whole red chili with the seeds. And it turned out really good. We've almost eaten the whole bowl. That bowl was pretty much full when we started this morning. We've got this going on. This is our, woo! Uh-oh. Fogged you out. You see me? This is our grouper and hogfish stock. We're gonna make some soup with that. And we've got some other leftovers. So cooking the hogfish tonight would be silly. But anyways, we will see you mañana. We're gonna try some of that hogfish. It is time for some lunch. Tipsy has been requested that I show you more. Everyone wants to see Tipsy.
Aww.
The sleepy girl. It's very sleepy. It's time for some lunch. Miss Madeline is making some
Healthy bean salad.
bean salad to go with our hogfish. Got some hogfish fillets, skin on. scored the skin, just salt, pepper. And I've got our cast iron with olive oil coming up to heat. What do we do with the beans? First tell us what all you have here.
Okay. So we have this. The recipe didn't call for this. I actually got this. I'm inspired by the cafe. It's in Key West. It's like a vegetarian whole food restaurant. It's delicious. Well, anyway, they have this side bean salad. So it's just a mixture of different beans. So I'm using red beans, chickpeas, and black beans. And it doesn't call for cucumber, but we had it, so I figured I'd put that in there. Little celery, parsley, and the sauce is apple cider vinegar, a little bit of sugar, olive oil, and salt and pepper.
One red onion. I don't think you said.
Oh yeah, and red onion, which I'm soaking a little bit.
All right, there's our bean salad.
I've never made it, so we'll see what happens.
Here comes the excuses. So we're gonna do our hogfish. Skin on. And just to hold it down real good. Ooh,
Wow, I look like a chef,
very colorful.
right? So healthy.
What do you gotta do? Mix? Oh, the sauce.
Ah,
So it was olive oil and what?
olive oil, a little bit of sugar, apple cider vinegar, and salt and pepper.
Yummy.
Yeah, actually. I don't know if this is enough sauce, but I figure I can always add more. And then it's so pretty. Fold it in. Oop.
That's pretty darn colorful.
We're like so healthy.
An A for appearance. Doesn't look so bad.
Oh, it's good.
I think I did it.
That looks really good.
There's crunch. Can you believe it? I'm gonna try the bean salad.
I don't know if you're gonna like this, but
Why wouldn't I like it?
I don't know. You're kind of picky.
I'm kind of what?
You're kind of picky.
I just like good food.
Like picky with healthy stuff.
That's great.
Yeah?
I like everything in it. Why wouldn't I like it?
I don't know. I was worried.
A little bit of crunch, a little bit of beans. It's very nice.
Is the sauce good? Like,
Yeah.
like simple? Yeah.
All right, try
and
the
like
hogfish.
tons of fiber. Okay, back to the real.
No, it's good. It's amazing, baby. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're good.
Tons of fiber. You get a crunch.
You can hear it? It's good.
I think I got it that time.
Yep.
I'll break a piece off here. All that complaining. I think I finally figured it out. Oh my gosh.
Oh, we didn't even put any sauce on it.
It's like a pork rind. That is so good. Hogfish really is hard to beat.
I know.
It makes
I
it
love
really
it.
hard not to shoot them more. The numbers are bouncing back though, so. We do have a little bit of chimichurri. I know that's kind of weird. You'd never think chimichurri on fish, but
Oh, yeah, I would.
chimichurri is good on anything. Did you dunk it? Had a little bit of leftover from yesterday. But that is all we have on this one. That's really good. The bean salad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got some oil on there from the...
You're
You
good.
see me? Well, that is all we have. We're going to enjoy the rest of our meal. Thanks so much for continuing to come along. We do appreciate you guys watching. We're just having fun, enjoying life, and sharing adventures from time to time. If you have any questions, get on here. Videos, I keep saying it, but within the first hour. And first hour I get on there and answer any comments that come up. But other than that, thanks again, and we will see you on the next one. Later.